Now, what are you secretly really good at?
Oh, sex. No, I mean
Wow.
interior design. Hi, my name is Hannah Gadsby, and this is 10 Chaotic Questions.
Now, you recently released a stand-up special, Woof, where you are a sock puppet. I guess it would be why.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I just got sick of being seen. Well, okay. There's lots of different reasons. There's never a simple reason, but the main through line there is a little bit sick of seeing myself reflected. So there's that. Also, there's a lot of stand-up now. Like in the last 10 years, there's a lot of stand-up comedy, and it all looks the same, you know. And people don't watch stand-up comedy anymore. It's usually the second or third screen, you know, it's going on in the background. So that's why I did an album. I'm like, well, if you're not going to watch it, why bother filming the whole thing, you know? And then also I wanted to create something that was entirely different and could be the second and third screen, because it's so busy and complicated that, you know, if you get into it, then you can't look away. Yeah.
And then sock puppet was...
Well, I wanted something homemade, because we're entering the era of AI slop, and I feel queasy when I watch that, and I wanted something that sort of, you know, what the internet has taught me is we'll watch anything, and it doesn't have to be high quality. So I thought, well, how about if I make something that anyone can make, sort of like play school. You know, I got into the useful box, so to speak, and just cobbled together a fairly average sock puppet.
Nice. So you actually made the sock puppet?
Yeah, I made, that's my
that's
hand.
Great.
That's my sock. I mean, it's odd.
I mean, I won't deny that. It was vaguely nightmarish.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, the theme of the 20 minutes that I did was about anxiety and anxiety about the world, and I thought, well, you know, we could really reflect that in the aesthetic. I think we nailed it.
Now, I understand that you look up spoilers when you're watching a film or a TV show because you find plot twists sort of panic-inducing. Has there ever been a plot twist where you're like, I kind of regret that I didn't get to experience the surprise of that?
No.
No.
No. So when people get angry with spoiler alerts, I don't understand them. I think I get more out of a story the second time anyway. The first time I'm just tense. Because, you know, when people are writing a show, everything's going nicely, and I'm like, you know, there's a group of writers going, how can we ruin this? Because that's what we watch. We have to watch people's worlds crumbling all the time. And I just feel really sad when people's worlds crumble. So I get that out of the way. I know how it's going to happen, and I get less tense. One of my favourite films is Get Out. Have you seen Get Out?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. But I think it's a great film. I've read all about it. I've read other people's think pieces about it, and I've seen a few clips, and I'm like, this is an amazing film. I have no desire to watch it.
Now, what are you secretly really good at?
Oh, sex. No, I mean
wow.
Interior design. Interior design. That's that. Very good at placing trinkets.
Yeah. Does good interior design sometimes lead to sex?
Well, that's my experience.
What is your most controversial pop culture opinion? And I understand from Wolf that you don't get Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I don't. I'm unable to get swept away. I look at fandom just in general, and it seems I'm unable to really participate in it. I don't think I'm able to form parasocial relationships.
Right.
Like I scratch the surface at actual relationships. Like I'm there, I can do that. But if I haven't met someone, I fail to form an attachment. Although sometimes I look at a rock and I feel sad. But sometimes they just look sad. You've seen a rock and it's just... Anyway, I have lots of controversial pop culture opinions. I can't watch reality TV. And it's been going on a while. It feels like it's here to stay. And I just can't.
Now, your upcoming show at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival is The Evening Muse, in which you will act as a sort of late night host.
Yes.
Now, you've been on all of the late night shows in America. Yeah. Who was the best?
Well, Colbert was the best. Although I did Conan's podcast, and he's also extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to just sort of say that the premise of my Tonight Show is that I'm profoundly ill-equipped to host a Tonight Show. Like, I've got a suit and an ego, but other than that, you know, I can't talk and listen at the same time very well, which is a really key skill set for interviewing. But that's part of the muddle.
Yes.
It's essentially one of my stand-up shows, but in the middle of it, I'm going to have guests on from the festival and ask them questions from 1981 Genesis edition of Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, of course. I understand you have a particular attachment to Trivial Pursuit.
I do.
Yeah.
It's archaic trivia really soothes me. Now we have access to the internet. We feel like we have all the information in the world. And I grew up in a time when we didn't have any information. And I find it interesting. Like my brain was trained on a scarcity of information. When I wrote a project on, you could choose any country to write a project on in high school. Did you ever do one of those kinds of projects?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I chose in 1994 East and West Germany.
Right.
So that's how up to date our library was.
Yeah.
It was 5 years after the wall came down. I'm like, East and West Germany, I've got that. So that's how my brain was trained. And when the internet first came in, I'm like, I love it. I love having all this. I'm so curious. I'm so curious. But now I kind of feel like I'm being waterboarded by information, and so I've regressed.
Who was the most surprising fan of Nanette?
The Obamas spring to mind.
Wow, yeah.
I found out. I never met them, but I did find out that they sat down as a family and watched it. And if I ever do meet them, I would apologise for ruining their evening. But they enjoy. Well, I don't think enjoying is the word, but they saw it.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? What a family night. What a family movie night.
What is the most chaotic thing that has happened to you while on stage?
One time, someone threw a potato on stage, and I ignored it while I was, I'm very professional and stuff. But then at the end of the show, we picked it up, and it had been hollowed out. There's a hole in the potato, and in the potato hole was a piece of paper rolled up into a little scroll. So it was a vessel for a message, and the message was pretty much asking me to participate in a thruple.
Oh.
But the person had a partner, and they also, in the note, acknowledged Jeno's existence, but then asked for a thruple.
Right.
And I don't know who misses out. Well, we never called, but I don't know whether they couldn't count or they didn't know if there's a word for a thruple.
A furble? A
Forple? A forple? Or they just thought, leave Jeno. I don't know.
Just really didn't like
maybe
your wife.
I was the one who was supposed to not participate. We'll never know.
You appeared in the show Sex Education.
Mm-hmm.
What has stayed with you from your own sex education?
Not much. That's probably why I'm a lesbian. Stick with what you know. There was the dark ages when I went to school.
Yeah.
It was the 1980s in Tasmania. There was a small population, but a lot of Tasmanians leave. So we punch above our weight in terms of producing children. So there it is. There was some sex education going on when I was
Someone was
up.
doing it right.
Someone was doing it, or a lot of good guesswork. I think the thing that's such a long time ago, I think the thing that's stuck in my mind is we were separated, and the girls weren't to know about the boys and the boys weren't to know about the girls. And in my mind, that seemed counterintuitive.
Yes. What is your least favourite bird and why?
It's a really great question. Do you know, I don't trust birds generally. I think, hollow-boned little freaks. But I've never thought to rank them. I am afraid of the cassowary.
I think that's very smart.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, I was afraid of crows because they did sound like my mum calling, ha, nah.
What has been your most embarrassing run-in with a famous person?
Oh, Anna Kendrick. Yeah. I saw her at the US Tennis Open. And I was there with my publicist, who was a very incredible powerhouse of a woman. And I was too new to that world. And we'd been watching the tennis. we're in Billie Jean King's box, which is a great thing to say, watching Serena. And they do this thing at the Open where they're like, oh, look at this famous person is on there. And they put them up on the screen and everyone goes, oh, there's a famous person in there. So there's Anna Wintour and I think Neil Sedaka was there the day we came. It's like, calendar girl, know who he is. And then they put Anna Kendrick on and Brittany Snow. And I'm like, I don't know who they are. I missed the Pitch Perfect movie, sorry, Rebel. But I've since caught up. But I just wasn't sure who Anna Kendrick was. So I did a bit of a Google. I'm like, oh, okay, got a grip. And then when we were leaving, because I was like, oh, they've been in these films. And it was Trolls that stuck in my mind, which is not what she'd put at the top of her list. But it's what jumped out as I'm like quickly looking. I was like, oh, Trolls. But then when we went out, we saw her leaving at the same time. And I said to Jeno, but my publicist overheard. I'm like, oh, there's Anna Kendrick, because I now know who that is. But my publicist heard that and thought, I've always loved Anna Kendrick and I'd want to meet her. So she said, would you like to meet her? And I said, oh, God, no. But she's a publicist, so she's like, of course you do. And she went over there and said, Anna Kendrick, Hannah Gadsby wants to meet you. And she has turned around and said, shut the front door. And it's like, oh my God, I really want to meet Hannah Gadsby. And I'm like, I don't know how to process that, because you shouldn't know who I am and I should know who you are. Like, the mistake's mine. But she was excited to meet me, and I have said, I don't remember it in my exact wording, but when you meet someone, you're supposed to go, compliment them on the work that you enjoyed, and I'd only just really looked her up, and so I said, you were great in Ogres. Just imagine that. It's Trolls for a start, and also it's an animation.
Yes, so you called it Ogres.
Call it Ogres, but there's a great photo of me with these two very, very incredibly talented but tiny women. And that's about the first time I'm just like, I felt like the ogre in that.
Right.